Welcome to Silver Anchor. Today's episode, we're doing Study Sunday about cleansing. So, cleansing your home is a very vital step in any magical practice. Welcome to Silver Anchor. I'm Sylvie Anchor, and today's topic on Study Sunday is cleansing. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, I keep my house clean. What are you talking about? I'm talking about cleansing with intention. So this is something that a magic practitioner just does on a regular basis. It's important to keep the energies moving through your home. So it's something that just you should do, I would say, at least once a week, every other week at a minimum. But you also might do it when you're just feeling the energy is stagnant in your home. So this would be you're trying to manifest something positive into your life and it's just not happening. You need to make sure that the energy is welcoming in your home to these energies. And also when you sense bad mojo. So sometimes you may feel something wandering about in your home. The word might be haunting. It's not my favorite word, but I do use it because it is short and sweet. It just means there's this unwanted spirit hanging around, right? When you're sensing that bad energy, it's definitely time to do a cleansing and perhaps even more. But that'd be a place to start. Another reason people cleanse is because a traumatic event has happened in a certain area in the home. It could have been a death, a great sickness, a fight, an emotional turmoil happening in a particular spot. So you can try and remove that residual energy using cleansing. So the most important step, number one, is to please open a door or a window or both if you can. Right? There has to be a portal to let the spirits leave when you've banished them. There's an old joke is when you're doing like a sage bundle and you didn't open a window, those spirits are just bumping around on all the walls. They have nowhere to go. So speaking of smoke, the first one I've written down here is using smoke to cleanse. You can use incense. That's my favorite. It's just really easy to light an incense stick and walk around just putting the smoke into every single corner. And you see this in tons of magic practices where they have smoke going and they have that little pendulum full of smoke that they swing around in a Catholic church. It kind of reminds me of the same thing. They're cleansing the space for the energies to flow. Another popular practice with smoke is to use herb bundles, the most favorite being sage. Everyone talks about burning sage. I've also heard you can do pine needles or other dried herbs and flowers. It's not something I've really experimented with. I'm honestly afraid of starting a fire, so it's just a lot of smoke for my tiny space. So I'm fine with using the incense from time to time. But the one I use the most is the next category. I call it sweep. And it's the most classic form of cleansing. This is why witches have brooms. They're cleansing their practice space. And it's important to keep doing regularly. I mean, I know you're thinking, I already cleaned my house, Sylvie. But I'm saying cleaning with intention. So it's not just, going through the motions, but with the intention as you sweep, think about sweeping the bad energies out of your home. You're saying it out loud as you scrub and clean and vacuum. And it's good to do it regularly. You're purifying your space in a physical and in a spiritual way. So it's like a win-win. I also cleanse the space that I work in very often. I would say more than once a week, probably 2 or 3 times a week. It just speaks to me and says, I need to be cleaned. And what I've been using is vinegar. It just called out to me, and I think that's really been doing a good job. And it's such a simple, inexpensive thing to keep in the house. You can clean windows with vinegar. You can clean just about anything with vinegar. It's a very effective cleanser. And I also spread some salt sometimes. I did my 2 portals, my front door and back door. I cleaned them really well with some vinegar and wiped them down. And also said some things while I wiped them, and then I spread some salt around, clarifying that only good intending spirits may enter my home. And while we're talking about talking, the next one is shout. And this is one that I have used, and it usually is effective. You see this done in, like, the movie Exorcist. They yell at the spirit to leave. And you can do that too. It's about the conviction in your heart. The volume really is only just helping you mean it more. So yelling at them, I cast you out. You know, if you knew their name, you could do it even better. But most of the time, you can just cast out energies by screaming at them, uh, telling them to leave. And if you're not able to do it, ask someone else to try, because sometimes they're not going to listen to you, but they may listen to somebody else, just like a kid, right? And going along that, more noise can also help. I once had a friend tell me I accidentally broke a plate. I felt really bad because I was visiting her home and I broke a plate. And she says, no, the breaking of glass scares away evil spirits. And it may or may not work, but it does make me feel a lot better about accidentally breaking a glass or plate by dropping it. Is, well, at least I probably scared away. Maybe that's why you dropped it, you know, and nothing happens for no reason. But I would not recommend just going in the kitchen and breaking stuff intentionally. But if you do have intentions, you can use loud noises, loud music, drumming, cymbals, those finger cymbals, large cymbals, just the noise and shouting at the same time should get them moving. And this last one, this might surprise you, um, is tossing away something. And I've often heard some stories of people who had, let's say, a Ouija board in their home, or something that's they bought at a garage sale, something that was not in their home before. Then they start noticing like weird things happening, or really just a bad energy, or you feel like someone's right behind you all the time. The back hairs on your neck rising, or you getting chills down your back, that kind of feeling, right? And the best word for it is just haunted, right? You need to figure out what the object is, and this can be tricky. For people who just bought something new and then they notice the energies, that's really easy. But I've gone through an experience where I was going through some old jewelry, and it's just reawakening the spirits connected to it, because there's a lot of emotion sometimes attracted to these objects. And it happened to be a crystal. Of course, you know, crystals, I mean, we use them all the time, so they can absorb energy. And this crystal just, I felt it. There was definitely something in my home after I'd gone through the jewelry. I isolated the crystal and I tossed it out and I yelled at it. And I told this story before. My friend said, well, did you go get it? And I said, no, it's gone. Like, let someone else pick it up. Um, I mean, there's probably ways you could probably cleanse and purify the object if you really wanted to keep it, but it's just easiest to get rid of it. It's just a thing. Things can be replaced. I have lots of other jewelry to enjoy, and I wouldn't want to wear that piece after it'd been associated with something so dark. So it was immediately gone just by yelling and casting out the object and physically casting it out. So we're not just talking about spiritual, but also on a physical level. And that's why cleansing is so important, is to physically and spiritually cleanse your home on a regular basis. So if you have another way of cleansing, I would love to hear about it. I've enjoyed making this page and attempting some word art or nice scripting for once. But the black ink I just filled in my regular handwriting. There was not enough room to make it all big and pretty. So I like this kind of format. This is going to go in my grimoire under spells, because cleansing is a part of preparing your space for doing some spell work, which we'll get into soon. So thank you so much. This has been Silver Anchor and Study Sunday, and there we are.